All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great mercy that ruled well. Salutations to the men of the whole land since they elect. This is Marcus from the Trinidad camp. I want to do a quick edification for the elect's sake. And the name of this video will be, how do you know when you are going off? All right? Because, you know, the scripture says that you have heard basically arguments among you, and he partly believed it, because this is Paul, and he said it is needful to have it that they that are approved might be declared. So, you know, whether it be between brothers or between camps, it gonna have differences, but how would you know when you're standing in the right? All right, sometimes you wouldn't know. Sometimes you might examine yourself and not know that you're going off. All right, because the Lord hadn't revealed it to you at that point. All right, so that you wouldn't know. Or sometimes, you know, all you need to do is examine yourself and then you realize, you know, yeah, I was going off. I wasn't being right. But sometimes you really don't know. And guess what? This is where the brothers come in. Because where you wouldn't see your fault, another brother would see your fault. And then that brother will come and correct you through the Spirit, and then it's for you to accept that correction and then, you know, build up from there. Acknowledge your offense, acknowledge your wrongdoings, and then continue from there. All right? Because the scripture says there's a way that is right unto a man, but the parts of it is it lead to death. All right? You might be doing shit and thinking that you're right, not knowing that you're walking off a cliff. But then it have a brother that the Most High could set up to prevent you from walking that way. So then the next step now is for you to accept correction. All right? And this is where it all depends on, accepting the correction. Because it have men that don't like correction. And therefore, in that case, then you would be reprobate. All right? Because we all sin and we all fall short. But then when you refuse correction, then are you reprobate. All right? This is Isaiah chapter 63, verse 17. It says, O Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways and harden our heart from thy fear? All right? So I'll stop there. It says, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways? So guess what? Hey, Satan could jump on you and you going off and not know. All right? The Lord allowed Satan to jump on Israel to make Israel go off. All right? Because we sinned against the Most High. We're doing things thinking that we're doing it in the right, but we're actually doing the wrong. So therefore, as the scripture said, to examine yourself, because you don't know when you're going wrong. You could be doing, your intentions could be good. Your intentions could actually be good for the body, but then your approach is wrong. And your approach detrimental. So then therefore, this is why you need to seek advice. You all don't, guess what? You're not above any law. You're not above correction. All right? You should always be subject to scrutiny, always be subject to correction. And this will actually help men to grow. If you don't like men talking to you, guess what? You're not in the right place. If you don't like to be corrected, you're not in the right spirit. So the only way to know if you're going off is by what? Is by taking heed to correction and praying and begging the Most High for forgiveness when you're being reproved. All right? Because guess what? As the prayer said, it says what? Lead me not into temptation. Lead me not into temptation. Guess what? You could be led away. You could be led away thinking that you're on the right path. All right? So don't hate correction. And that is the only how you're going to know if you're going off, by getting correction. All right? By being reproved. On your own, guess what? You hardly would know if you're going off. Because who will dare to tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong or you're doing that right? You will actually be going off your own judgments. And that could be detrimental. It says Proverbs chapter 9 verse 8. It says, reprove not a scorner lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man and he will love thee. So when you rebuke a wise man, he will even say, hey, Tawara, I really wasn't seeing it that way. I really didn't see I was going off. Hey, Tawara. And from there, the building comes. Because guess what? Hey, the scripture said, they that are whole need not the physician, but they that are sick. And guess what? We all sick, so then we all need the physician. All right? And guess what? We need the physician more than 2/3. Because being in the world, you're going to think that you're doing right. Just like these Christians, they think they're doing right. Being in the world, you will actually think you're doing right, not knowing that you're sick. But when you realize who you are through the Spirit of the Most High, you know his name, you know his son's name, this is when you're going to become even more sick. Because this is the time when demons are going to start plaguing you even more. So then this is the time when you need Yahweh Hashem Yahushai even more. All right? Because this is the time the fight really begins. So then therefore more demons are going to be plaguing you. So you have to be always on your P's and Q's. You always have to be open for correction. Hey, Ark, anything about me that I can improve, anything about me that I'm doing that I'm not supposed to do, tell me, help me. Pray and ask the Most High for guidance. Don't ever think that you on the right track and just go. That is pride. If you look up the word of today on dictionary.com, the word of today, it actually goes back to being prideful or haughty. All right? And the apostles talking about men being proud in these times. All right? So we can't be proud. You can't be, not wanting to take correction. You can't be thinking yourself right all the time. You can never be always right in every situation. That is being proud. All right? That is being proud. So you reproof as corner, he go hate you. So anytime you hate to reproof, guess what? You ask corner. All right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 8. It says, now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. So like you, Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, all right? Guess what? You would stand in the faith. When you get correction, when you get order from the apostles and you will stand in the faith. You resist in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and you reprobate. Are you not in your right mind? All right, you're not in your right mind. So how would you know you're going off if you're not being subject to reproof? That is the only how you're gonna know if you're going off, if you're subject to reproof. All right. This is 2 Samuel chapter 12 verse 1. This is the incident with David and Bathsheba. Now David know he committed adultery. He knew he slew his brother to take his wife. All right. But I'm gonna read and see the point I'm bringing out. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushai sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city, one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks of herds, and the poor had nothing save one little ewe lamb. And he had brought up and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock of his own herd, and dressed for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come unto him. And David's anger was kindled greatly against that man, and said to Nathan, as Yahweh Hashem Yahushai liveth, the man that had done this thing shall surely die. He shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he had done this thing, and because he had no pity. And David said unto David, thou art that man. Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of Saul's hand. All right, and going on, but basically, he said, thou art that man. Now, what he did, he actually saw what tested David to see what was David's integrity and what was David's judgment on the situation. All right. So now, if a particular brother, did something and refused to be corrected about it, and if the situation was changed, another brother did it, guess what? Most likely that brother will be inflamed, because he would see his sin from a different scope. All right. And then somebody will have to be there to say, this is exactly what you did. And then from there, he will say, oh shit, yeah, I really fucked up. Because sometimes you don't see things when it involves you, but when it involves other people, then you see it. This is the reason you can't hate reproof. You can't hate to be corrected. All right? You need men to correct you. You can't just stand on your throne believing that you're always right. You are not the Most High. There's only one that is good. All right? We in this wicked flesh. So the only how you're going to know if you're going off is by being subject to reproof. You cannot hate reproof. All right? It says Proverbs chapter 5 verse 12. It says, and say, how have I hated reproof? I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof. And I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear unto them that instructed me. Don't do this. Don't hate reproof, and don't hate the instructions of the wise. That is not, guess what? You're not supposed to be in the truth with that kind of mentality. That is the old man. That is the old man. You can't be in the faith with that kind of mindset. All right? The Most High will cast you off. And then when you be cast off, then you're going to say, you know what? I should have really done this. I should have really listened. Don't reach to that point. When a brother corrects you or reproves you through the Spirit, guess what? That is an act of love. There's an act of love. All right? And you should receive it. All right? The scripture said, he that hated reproof is in the way of death. All right? So if you hate reproof, then you walking off a cliff, you're in the way of death. It says Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 21. Such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them. So your own wickedness could blind you, making you believe that you're right, but you're wrong. Don't ever think that you're all right. Look at the situation. Hey, sometimes a video might pop up in the spirit, and you know, before you apply that video to somebody else, hey, apply that video to you. That is like you being rebuked. Apply that video to you and see if you all right. Don't just say, hey, see, that is that brother. Nah, don't do that. See if it's talking about you. See if that video applied to you. Probably the reason that video showed up in your listing is because it's to correct you through the Spirit. All right? Don't let sin blind you. It says, as for the mystery of Yahweh, they knew them not. Neither hope they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward for a blameless soul. All right? Because why? Because your pride had blinded you. All right? You're so proud that you didn't even take the time to look at your own self. The scripture said, thou art inexcusable, O man. That is the only how you're going to know if you're going off, by being subject to correction and reproof. All right? The final precept here. This is Psalms 141 verse 5. It says, let the righteous smite me, and it shall be a kindness. There is kindness. There is an act of love by being rebuked by a righteous man. By a man that correcting you through the Spirit, and not through animosity or envy. All right? Brothers be thinking that, every time a brother correct them, they always have a problem with them. No, they don't have a problem with you. They have a problem with what you're doing or not doing. Stop being childish. Stop being emotional when you're being rebuked. And let him reprove me. It shall be an excellent oil, which shall not break my head. It shall not break your head. All right? It ain't going to kill. Reproof not going to kill you. For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities. All right? So don't ever hate reproof. Love correction. And it will actually make you better. Correction and reproof is like you being tried and you being purified through the furnace of affliction. All right? So don't hate it. Don't see a video our brother did and say, oh, why this brother, this brother always talking shit about. Nah. Use that to make you better. All right? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great mercy and truth. Well, salutations to the men of the Hope Land Saints elect. This is Makazah saying, Shalom.